Hello, my name's Joey and welcome to my tour of props and artifacts. Making sure I don't cut my own head off with this. Oh yeah, little bits of wood where I didn't quite jigsaw this out properly. Anyway, so today I'm talking about an original film prop here. What is it? A friend of mine who works in the police looked at it and said, "Is that a big lump of poo?" So you can be forgiven for thinking that. It does look like a big lump of poo. So if any of you have guessed what this is already, brilliant. For those of you who haven't guessed, I'm not going to blame you because it isn't obvious. So what is this? What is this? This is an original film prop. This is an original section of so the eggs in the film Aliens. After the alien queen has laid her eggs in her hive, of course all the eggs in Aliens had a load of tentacles coming out the bottom of them. So this is an original section that I managed to salvage of those tentacles coming out of an egg. Long story short, I used to work for a museum and they had an original alien egg in there. Now unfortunately, they had the original tentacle section here as well. They had the entire egg and the entire tentacle section. Now this originally was 22 inches in diameter. But what happened was, sadly and almost criminally, this was never protected. It was walked over to turn the exhibits off at night. It was just in a real state of disrepair. So eventually what happened was the egg was sold off to the prop store of London, also has their houses in Los Angeles. So it was an original egg that was sold off. But left behind was the egg tentacle base, and it just got worse and worse. It was crumbling away. As I said before, people were treading on it. No one really knew what it was. It was only me and somebody else that knew it was genuine. And so when the museum closed down, I was very, very lucky. I was given the chance to go there and get bits and pieces that were going to be thrown out. And one of the things I spotted was this, just on the floor, just in pieces, ready to get swept up and put in the bin. I thought, this can't happen. You know, this is a piece of film history. So basically, this was originally made of a very soft foam. It was 22 inches in diameter, as I've already said. This section here was kind of more down there really, but I kind of put it on there just to kind of create a bit more of an interesting space. So original to the 1986 film is this section here. This section itself was more kind of over there. So it was originally made of a foam, and what I've done is, because it was in a really, really bad state, I basically covered the whole thing in PVA, and so it's now nicely solid and nicely preserved. It's glued on a wooden base here. Now I used to think that it was peeling because it was old, and I sold a piece on eBay. And the guy very kindly, he knew someone who worked in the film prop industry of that era, and he identified this as being genuine. There was never really a question if it was genuine, but it was nice to have a genuine verification there. Because basically, when you look at this up close, there are tiny little bits of metal mixed in with the actual foam that this is made of. And this was identified as, I've got it written on the back here, this was identified as vermiculite, which is a form of, hang on a minute, it's a form of insulation, and it's also very poisonous. So it was a very good job that technically I did cover this in PVA and lock it all inside. But yeah, so it's very, very nice to know that this is a genuine prop. And of course, it turned out as well that, so a lot of the areas of this, the paint is flaking. And I didn't really realise, I just assumed it was getting old and the paint was flaking off. And the section I sold, this guy really looked into it, and you could see that it had been charred at some point. So a lot of this flaking is burning, which of course is the effect of Ripley using the flamethrower on the eggs in the Alien Queen's hive. So this is actually quite exciting. This is more exciting than it actually was originally. It was always exciting to have an original piece of aliens and have an original piece of an egg section. But now to find it's got its kind of on-screen history as well of being burnt, not literally by Sigourney Weaver, because obviously a lot of that fire effect, a lot of the flamethrower was of course done through different means. She probably just would have done the first initial flamethrower, but not the entire set. But still absolutely brilliant. And as I famously say, and you're probably going to get bored of, sorry if you are, that is kind of it. Not much else to say about this. Yeah, it's really, really great to have actually salvaged this, basically. It was due to get thrown out, and now it's nice and solid and nice and preserved. I'm going to try and get it a little bit closer to the camera so you can appreciate it. There isn't really much to appreciate it, as most people will say it looks like a big lump of poo, but imagine this absolutely bigger with a whacking great big Xenomorph egg in the middle of it, and it starts to get a little bit more interesting. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I shall see you soon. Right, hopefully, because I forgot the tripod this week, hopefully when I come into the camera, it won't fall off. So here we go, I'm going to try and get a little bit closer and just give you a few little views of the egg section itself, the tentacle section. It was painted in a very, very kind of dull grey. The PVA has turned it glossy, and it's quite good because the PVA has kind of made it look a little bit slimy, which is great. So that's originally what it seemed to have looked like on the film set, was kind of glossy. So obviously the dark grey was it had just been extremely aged over the years. There we go, that's it. That is my original egg section from the film Aliens. Absolutely fantastic. Don't know what to do with it. I'm not going to get rid of it, but it's always a bit of a weird one. How do you display this? But there you go. Fantastic. Take care, and I shall see you soon.